I've lost another one. This is like Persian sheep.
She work.
Yeah, I've lost another. Where am I? I was gonna say, yeah.
Herding sheep.
Oh, we need to just cheese crack.
Very excited about my new little toy, by the way.
I was gonna say, you know,
You got the thumbs
you're gonna
up.
love it.
Ms. Wolf, you ready? I am absolutely ready. Gentlemen? Lady?
Yes.
Okay. Wow, cabinet looks naked over there.
Sandy goes, what?
We could invite Sandy up here just because she looks.
We don't want you lonely, Sandy. Do you guys do paper, rock, scissors or something?
Yes.
Just checking.
It is now 6:00 PM on Tuesday, June 17th. And I would like to call this meeting to order. I'd like to welcome those who are participating in the Board of Education meeting in person and those watching the meeting via live streaming on YouTube. We would ask that anyone addressing the board to please use the microphone at the podium and to identify themselves for the record. As a reminder, the link to the meeting is on the district webpage under Board of Education. The streaming will run through the end of the meeting. In the event there's a disruption in the streaming, I will pause the meeting until it is reestablished. We do have a quorum in attendance. Of course, District 1's position, formerly occupied by Mr. Talley, is vacant, but we do have 4 members out of 4 at this time. And we have Mr. Size, who's the Assistant Superintendent, will be, is the acting superintendent's designee for this meeting in Mrs. Chavis's absence. We're on item B, Pledge of Allegiance. If you would stand with me, please. Mrs. Seymour, would you please lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. We are on item C. Mr. Size, would you please announce the meeting?
This meeting has been announced in accordance with the New Mexico Open Meetings Act and the Los Lunas Schools Open Meetings Resolution, and is a legally constituted meeting of the Los Lunas Schools Board of Education.
Thank you very much, Mr. Size. We're on item D, approval of the agenda. Mr. Size, are there any changes or deletions to the agenda?
President Osowski, members of the board, I would ask for one change to the agenda. That being to remove item F, approval of resolution number 25-003, Los Lunas Schools District Foundation. Table at May 20th, 2025 regular board meeting from the agenda this evening.
Thank you very much. I would stand for a motion regarding the approval of the agenda.
Madam President,
Mrs. Seymour.
I move that we approve the agenda as amended by Mr. Size.
Thank you. Mrs. Seymour has moved and Mr. Bennett has seconded to approve the agenda, the amended agenda as presented by Mr. Size. Is there any discussion? And we'll call for the vote. Mrs. Seymour,
I vote yes.
Mr. Vickers,
Yes.
Mr. Bennett,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Motion passes 4-0. We are now on to item E, approval of consent items. I would stand for a motion regarding the consent items.
Madam President,
Yes, Mrs. Seymour.
I move that we approve the consent items with the exception of item G, approval of professional services agreement, PSA, for Laura M. Castile Esquire. This was tabled at our June 3rd meeting, special board meeting, to leave that open for discussion.
I'll second.
Mrs. Seymour has moved and Mr. Bennett has seconded to approve the consent items with the exception of item G, approval of professional services agreement, PSA, for Laura M. Castile Esquire, which was tabled on the June 3rd, 2025 special board meeting. For the benefit of the audience, consent items are the action items on the agenda presented by the acting superintendent and staff for approval. All agenda items have been reviewed by the board members individually. If no discussion has been asked regarding these items by any of the board members, the action items may be submitted for approval with one motion or vote. The action items that are not consented will be discussed prior to the action being taken. Is there any discussion? Mrs. Simoia, that's your motion.
I vote yes.
Thank you very much. Mr. Vickers,
Yes.
Mr. Bennett,
Yes.
and I vote yes, motion passes 4-0. Okay, we are now on to item G.
There, that was quick.
I know, we're never this quick. I'm looking for more pages in our script, thinking we're missing something. Item G. Approval of the professional services agreement, a PSA with Laura M. Castile Esquire. This item was tabled at the June 3rd, 2025 special board meeting. Do I have a motion to approve the professional services agreement?
So move.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. Is there a second? I will second. Asking for discussion. Is there any discussion?
Madam President.
Yes, Mrs. Simoia.
The reason I dissented this consent items is I want to make sure that we're doing justice, with full disclosure and clarity regarding, Ms. Castile's contract. My understanding is that Ms. Castile has left the Cuddy Law Firm and will be, has embarked on her own law entity, Castile Law LLC. My understanding for the professional services agreement at this time is that we will be utilizing the Clovis Municipal Schools Cooperative Contract with the Castile Law Firm LLC, which is contract 2425-205. I would like to have Ms. Tracek or a representative from procurement provide us with a couple of answers to questions that I have regarding this contract.
Hey, Madam President, members of the board, I might need the help of also. Michelle, this is a contract that just kind of got finalized recently, so.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate that. You may need the microphone.
Yep.
Yeah, I was gonna say, she's gonna do fine on the microphone.
Good evening. I'm Michelle Romero. I'm the Director of Purchasing for the district.
Thank you, Ms. Romero. I have questions about the contract, the Clovis Municipal Schools Cooperative Contract 24-25-205. Just questions about the scope of services that contract is for in regards to their relationship with the Castile Law Firm. Do you have a copy of that RFP that you can let me know what the scope of services are for?
Yes, the Clovis contract is scope of procurement. Clovis Municipal Schools desires to establish a professional service agreement with an agency or agencies for legal counsel, advice and services. The duration of the contract results from this RFP shall be from May 28th, 2025 through July 30th, 2025 for the 24-25 fiscal year. And Clovis Schools reserves the right to mutually agree to the parties to extend the contract on an annual basis for 1 year at a time up to 4 years.
Okay, is that contract says it expires in July of 25 or July of 26?
Actually, it does say July of 25, but I would say that that's a typo on their part, but we probably should have clarification. It starts May 28th of 2025, and it says through July 30th of 2025, but it is establishing a 4-year contract 1 year at a time. So I would guess that was a typo and it should probably say 2026.
And under the legal contracts, I don't like I apologize, but I don't like to assume or guess.
Mhm.
So right now, the document you have in hand would basically be legal services for the month of July, at the end of June through the month of July, unless we receive the updated copy of that, correct?
I agree, yes.
Okay.
Now, to follow up, though, there may be, another piece here that might be helpful.
Would that be in the scope of work, maybe where they?
Of the RFP from Clovis, it
Mhm.
does, yes. There is an additional, document that's, a notice of award. And it is dated May 28th, 2025, from Clovis Municipal Schools to, Laura Castile of the Castile Law. And it does say that it is regarding the same RFP 2425-205 legal services. And I'll read this to you. Dear Laura Castile, on behalf of the Clovis Municipal School District, we would like to thank you for your firm for the time and effort given to the RFP 2425-205 legal services. We are happy to report that your firm has been awarded RFP 2425-205 legal services. Mr. Joe Strickland, Deputy Superintendent of Employee Services, and his or his designee will be your contact to be reached at, and then a telephone number. We look forward to working with you. So this is justifying or stating that her law firm was awarded a contract, and it is dated May 28th of 2025.
So if the board approves this PSA, if nothing else, we're good for 1 month.
I would
Until we
be,
get the updated
I would be nervous
contract.
about approving this for anything longer than the contract language of the Clovis Municipal Schools Cooperative Agreement. Until such time as that is updated, and then perhaps we can bring it back. I hate to do this to Ms. Castile. She has been phenomenal supporting this district and this board specifically, but it's nothing funnier than a legal contract with errors in it, I'm just saying. So, yeah, so Madam President, I would, move to amend the approval of our contract, because I believe the contract is for a 1-year scope of work for 1 year.
It is.
And so I would be willing to make a motion to amend the approval of the contract, but I'll ask for other input from
Well,
my board members.
that being said about the amendment, I mean, this is our contract that we're looking to do a PSA for a year. And right now, we're just looking to be covered by Clovis for the duration until she gets approval of a PSA from Los Angeles Schools. Is that how it works? I mean, because if the PSA goes out, will that be from Los Angeles Schools for that 1 year? But until the time of the board approves a PSA, she's actually working under the blanket or with Clovis Schools. Is that what I'm understanding?
Madam President, members of the board, Mr. Bennett, because of the short duration that the Clovis Schools has attached to this awarded contract, it is only good through July 30th of 2025, giving it a very short window. They would have to reissue at that point in time to give a year contract for the next fiscal year. So there is a very short window right now. So to be in compliance, I would say that we could, I mean, theoretically, if they did not extend her contract for another year, then we would only be good until July 30th. So I think that it's a sound thought to recommend only that it would, if you were going to do a short one, that would only go to July 30th of 2025. Otherwise, we would possibly wait until they issue a year contract, possibly starting from their next period. So it's usually typically typically we go from fiscal year to fiscal year. So in this case, it's going to July 30th of 2025, which is unusual. It's usually June 30th of 2025. And it is referencing the 24-25 school years or fiscal year. So that also throws it off a little bit. There's several different things here that are not adding up. So I
So
think,
that being said, would it be feasible to accept it as, because there's stuff that this board needs to get done. Definitely before this July. So is it feasible to approve something like this that just only allows it to those states in which state was?
I think if the board wished, I mean, I think that I'd have to look at it closer, but I would, just right now, I would say that you would be good to issue a very short contract only up until till July 30th of 2025, but with that being said, legal services never stop. So once you start them, you embarked on them, and it's not like you have a clear way to stop it at that date. So I would caution that would be putting you into that situation, which I think maybe you already are in that situation at this moment.
So I'm not noticing on here, unless somebody is catching it quicker than I am, I do not have dates in our contract. So, but we do have that it's referencing the Clovis Municipal Schools contract. So I don't believe that we have to amend the
No.
motion.
That's correct.
So as long as we're clear that this is until June or July 30th.
Which is strange as well. 'cause
Well,
that's
but you're gonna get clarification, correct?
Yes, so you're making reference to the term of the draft contract in front of you right now
Yes.
from Los Lunas Schools?
Yes.
That does say that, from approval of the board, and it also says, and services shall not start prior to the, issuance of a purchase order.
That's correct. That does say, but we don't have specific dates in this contract. That's what I'm saying.
Correct.
So we don't have to amend our motion, where the motion was to approve the PSA. But the board is very clear that until you get clarification or until Clovis reissues something accurately, we are limited to July 30th, 2025. Correct? Does that make a question?
That meets my question and my comfort level as well. Because basically we're piggybacking off of services from this RFP. So we have to basically adhere to their timelines, their scope of work, et cetera, so.
Is there any other discussion? I'll call for the vote. Absolutely, absolutely.
Including if, the Clovis RFPs.
Yes.
Which is what we have used. Just one final, I did notice that to proceed forward, we do need for our PO, we do need some documentation to support her license, her insurance, all that information, correct?
Yes, that's right.
And so services cannot begin until she remits that information.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Is there any other discussion? Does anybody else need anything else? I'm gonna call for the vote. Mr. Vickers,
Yes.
Mr. Bennett,
Yes.
Mrs. Simoia,
Yes.
and I vote yes, motion passes 4-0.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Romero, Mrs. Krasik. Okay, we are on item H, which is the review and discussion of applicants for school board single member District 2. For the public's benefit, the board did receive 3 application packets for citizens that reside within the district or single member district number 1 for the Los Lunas Schools Board of Education. One of those applicants did withdraw for other personal reasons. So we have 2 members or 2 community members that have applied. The first is Mr. Frank Otero. He is a former member of the Board of Education, 11 years, if I remember your packet correctly. Is that correct, Mr. Otero? Quite a lot of service there. And Mrs. Nicole Bradshaw, who is a graduate of Los Lunas Schools and also a parent of children in Los Lunas Schools. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. So this is a review and discussion, so I'm going to open this up for discussion from members of the board. And we will see where we go after that. So members of the board, any questions, comments, discussion that we would like to have here?
Madam President, I would like to reiterate the thank you for those people applying for that position because we need it. And I guess, I mean, I viewed them over and I think, you know, very qualified, both people very qualified, and I thank you both for applying. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett, for that. Is there any other discussion?
Madam President,
Yes, Mrs. Simoia.
I too would like to express my gratitude for all three candidates, basically applicants that stepped up. Not an easy job, very time consuming, as we know. Just for record, I didn't receive, we received the packet from Mr. Fred Real. I don't have anything in writing that says he withdrew his packet. So for public record, that was our other individual. I just wanted to express, my gratitude for you guys for applying. It takes a lot to do that. And, this board is doing some wonderful things, so. Thank you guys both.
Mr. Vickers, anything, comments?
You guys have covered it.
Credit covered. I do want to thank both of you also for submitting. You provided a lot of confidential information and I appreciate that. It stays, you know, your utility bills, etc., those kinds of things. So thank you for trusting us with your information because I know that that's kind of a little nerve wracking. Who am I giving this stuff to and who's going to see it? So thank you both for that. So if there's no other discussion, I think we will move on to item I. Is there any action as needed regarding the filling of the vacated school board position for single member District 1?
Madam President,
Mr. Bennett,
I would move to approve Frank A. Otero for the District 1 position.
is there a second?
Madam President, I'll second that motion.
Is there any discussion?
Madam President, if I may, the reason I've made that recommendation for a motion was his past experience as a board member for 10+ years. And seeing as this is just a short span between now and the election time, possibly 5 months. I believe he's got the past experience and he knows that, and we need someone with some experience to step in here to get the school season started, and I think it'll take minimum, probably no training, but maybe updating to get caught up to where we're at, and that's what my motion is.
Madam President,
Mrs. Simoia,
I second the motion for Mr. Bennett because I've served on boards with Mr. Otero before. I've run into Mr. Otero in the community. He's very well respected within the community. And I do believe he was very instrumental on the initial Peralta rebuild. I also agree with Mr. Bennett that coming into the situation where we are already an established board completing things, this is for a short time period. This does give both candidates the opportunity to think about if this is what they would like to continue to do. But riding on Mr. Bennett's coattails, I do believe that being able to hit the ground running, Mr. Otero's experience does serve our board best for that.
is there any other discussion?
Madam Chair,
Mr. Vickers,
this is, these things are always difficult because somebody's going to win and somebody's not. And, so that's always tough. The light at the end of the tunnel is there is an election in November. Who doesn't prevail, give it another shot on the ballot. I have served on a board with Frank Otero. I witnessed his integrity through really difficult times. And I have no problem with him serving alongside of him for the future. And I'm only here to the end of the calendar year, so that we have to do this all over again. So anyway,
Thank you for that joyful addition.
Yes.
It's always joy. Okay. Having no other discussion, I'm gonna call for the vote. Mr. Bennett,
Yes.
Mrs. Simoia,
Yes.
Mr. Vickers,
yes,
and I vote no. Motion passes 3-1. Mr. Otero, we welcome you to the board. Get you sworn in probably next week, sir. And I've got a to-do list for you. Mrs. Bradshaw, thank you very much for your application. Thank you for taking the time. We are now on to item J, approval of the budget. Oh, no, sorry, that was a consent. We're on item K, announcement of the meetings. This brings us to the announcement of meetings as allowed by the Open Meetings Act and the District Open Meetings Resolution. On occasion, a quorum of the board members attend the same function, including school and district celebrations and ceremonies, as well as sports functions, conferences, workshops, trainings, and community events. Board members will refrain from discussing and or acting on Los Angeles Schools Board of Education issues in those settings. In addition, only official meetings are published, and if other meetings are scheduled, they will be announced in accordance with the Open Meetings Act. With that being said, I would like to announce the following meetings. June 24th, 2025, a regular board meeting in the central office board room at 6:00 p.m. I believe I had scheduled a work session on that day also that is not listed here, starting at 4:00, where we are beginning to do some board policies. So do you remember that from I remember that from my notes, but I would like to schedule a work session because we have got to get through some board policies at 4:00 p.m. in the central office boardroom. And on June 25, the board superintendent summer retreat, which will be held at UNM Valencia Workforce Training Center, 1020 Huning Ranch, East Loop, Los Lunas, New Mexico, 87031. Topics as listed on the notice, and a quorum will be in attendance. That will begin promptly at 8:00 a.m. With that, I will move to item L, the adjournment. I would stand for a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. And second? I second it. I'm seconding.
I'm seconding.
We are moving this. I would call for the vote. Mr. Bennett,
Yes.
Mrs. Simoia,
Yes.
Mr. Vickers,
yes.
and I vote yes. Motion passes 4-0. Meeting is adjourned at 6:28 p.m.